Hi friends, it's Janet at Emerald Gypsy Arts, and I'm here to do a demonstration of what I call double vision in glue books, or I guess you can use it in journals for sure, wherever, but I use it in glue books regularly because I come across pictures, and you'll see in a minute why I call it double vision. But I come across pictures in magazines that I look through, because I never let a magazine, I never pass up a chance to go through a magazine. But when I see pictures that each half gives me a different feeling or a different vibe, you know what I mean? Like, to me, those two don't necessarily have to go together, the two halves of this picture. One can fit into quite a bit if it's like an interesting Christmas collage or something like that. This, on the other hand, to me has more religious overtones or spiritual overtones, and so it's a picture that I get two distinctly different vibes from on different sides. The same with this picture. This is from a National Geographic, and I get a very different vibe between that and that. It brings out a different emotion in me, if that's what you want to call it. Now, this one, I have an old Time Life book, or I guess it's just Life magazine, from December like '95. So you can do it with this kind of thing as well, because if it's a glue book, you can cover whatever part of that page you don't want to use. This one as well, it's strong, this one. That half evokes a very different feeling for me than this half. And I have a number of things that would really go well with both, but not together. So this is what I'm getting at, is that there are plenty of pages where, two sides to a different coin kind of thing. And they can also be done this way. They can evoke different things in you this way too. So it doesn't matter which way you divide the page. The fact is that you are dividing it based on what you feel. That's, to me, very much a tiny house page. I love tiny houses. And then this is a very different type of page for me. So these are the type of things I'm talking about. I often come across pages that evokes a very different feeling to that. So it's about coming across pages that make you feel like you wish you had two of them so you could use them twice. This I just, same era and so on, it's just this side, to me there's a gentleness about it, a memory. This side is more about, I don't know, feels almost political. I don't know why, but it's two very distinct feelings. And so this is what today's talk is about, is double vision. That's why I called it double vision, because from one page you can evoke different feelings. And so I'm going to start with one that's kind of one of the reasons that I picked this project for today. I told you I had a Life magazine, and they had all these pages of Life magazine covers from I think 55 all the way to 1969. And this is the year I was 10 years old, 1968. And so the page is numbered this way. It's not this way. So a fold this way would be meaningless. But a fold this way, and I'm going to fold it between the fourth, because there are 7 rows, I'm going to fold it between the 4th and 5th one, just to make sure that I get the info based on that line of covers, because it gives you info below each cover. It was an amazing magazine. It was quite a find, I felt. All right, so 1968, that's when I was 10 years old, and every cover, well, not everyone, because I wasn't old enough to understand some of the stories going on, but the covers are recognizable to me for a couple of different reasons and so on. So when you have two that you want to, a page you want to honor twice, because what I want to do with this page is that above the page or before the page, I want to put together a collage page, or Gluebook page regarding the 60s prior to 1968. So things toys I remember, whatever it is I remember, I want it to go before this, and then after this I want to represent the 70s, the decade of the 70s, because that's the both sides of this picture for me. So I can use it two different ways. In a journal this size, this is my Gluebook. You guys have seen it. I'll do a march through again at some point. And the reason I jump around is because this one is a sewn binding, but it was starting to get lopsided, as you can see from the end. So I jump around and put things in different places to keep it even. So I'm thinking I can do it this way, or giving myself much more room and on the same page, I can do it this way. Like this. So if I do it this way, that gives me all this space to play with for what I want to do with the 60s theme. And then on this side, it gives me all this space for what I want to do with the 70s theme. So instead of separating the two, I make it part of both pages, so that there can be on other spots on this page things that fold over both decades, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So you can put other pictures here, or patterns, or whatever, like, you know, those bubble wallpapers and stuff that were so all over the place in those days. If you found a piece you could overlap it on both sides, it would be relevant. But this is how I think I'm going to do this particular page, because I want those pages for play. So that's what I'm talking about here. Now you can do the same thing with these pages. I'm going to leave the bottom on for now, just until I decide how I'm going to put it, and then I'll be cutting the bottom off. But this page, absolutely, it's again a National Geographic, and I absolutely want to divide this in half, because to me it's two amazingly different halves of a picture. So what I'd like to do with this is I would like to treat the mountainside, or the hillside there, with some really rough areas around Scotland and so on. There's been I got an Ancestry.com thing done, and it's been fun and so on, but I'd like to do this as a almost Nova Scotia, Scotland, you know, up there, I think in the North Hebrides or whatever they're called, but that kind of feeling for this side. And on this side, even though of course that kind of you know, the Vikings and so on are all part of that, this I have 4 or 5 other ships on water that I want to do a collage around this, or a gluing around this. So again, I can put them both together in the center, because they are associated in some ways based on this kind of rocky shore and so on. So I would do this one in the middle rather than the blind two-sided one on a page. I'm not interested in hiding either of the sides. So at this point I would do this in the center here, and I'd get it nicely tucked in there. Use my my metal edge ruler, and tuck it in there with the glue, just because movement tends to loosen glue, and so you want to make sure. And so then I can build what I want to over here, because I've got some other mountainous pictures that I can back right up, and over here I can do the ocean scenes I was talking about. This, if I leave it here, cut it flush to the page, but leave it here, I can either white that out with paint if I want to, or in grand Gluebook style, because it's not a journal page, it's or multimedia, it's a Gluebook. So in grand Gluebook style, I would pick out a saying from my text box and find something suitable and put it over top of that black type. But this would be perfect for a divided page. Absolutely perfect. So this is what I'm conveying to you, is that your pictures, if you feel two different feelings with them, go with that. Like, if you want to cut them up, that's fine, but most of the time these pictures don't need to be cut up based on those feelings. They feel better as a continuation, a continuing story sort of thing when you use them on the side of the page. It's like propelling you forward. This, for me, propels me forward, but it suggests a number of places I want to stop on the way to think about things based on the pictures I put in here. So have fun with your pictures, but don't feel you're restricted to just one meaning from them. If you get two meanings, if you want to cut them in half or rip in half, that's fine. But if you want to use both halves without destroying the picture, not destroying, but altering the picture that much, then do this kind of thing, or do the one on the edge, so that you have the use of both feelings from your pictures. And that way you get more ideas, more inspiration, more Gluebook pages. Have a fabulous day.